And so my intention with this, like I said, of course, we'll do a meditation, but I really want to talk a little bit more about like what's actually going on globally, energetically through the matrix. And I do want to talk about the matrix and what's going on with that, because I've become a lot more present to what is going on in the world that we're living in. I think, Robin, you were able to see the video that I shared, and I highly, 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 highly suggest everyone that's in that group watch the video, because it connected so many dots of what I personally have been experiencing. So it's kind of one of those things where I know that I personally have been experiencing it. So it's a lot easier for me to believe and a lot easier for me to go, oh, I get it. Like things just fucking clicked, like they have never clicked before. And so I'm still kind of processing that, because I watched it last afternoon. I haven't eaten in 7 days. Today's day 8. So I'm fasting. It's been a really powerful experience in that way. I've cleared out my gallbladder, liver, a lot of emotional healing, the things that I've experienced through breath work and have been seeing through just life in general. I've also personally seen what I would call the hologram of the universe, which I think can be not unanimously, but kind of same to the word like the matrix. I personally have experienced this twice, and this was about, I want to say 6 years ago. No, maybe about 10 years ago was the first time, when I was in a Bikram yoga class, and then again about 6 years ago when I was at a presentation by a guy named William Meader, who's the one who actually taught esoteric philosophy, and is the reason that the Monad Society is called the Monad Society, because he introduced me to the concept of monad. What is monad? And monad, in case we all aren't on the same page with that, monad is the indivisible spark of divine frequency that lives inside each and every one of us. It is the oneness that we all connect to. It is that one unique frequency that is in the fabric of all of us. That is what monad is. That in the esoteric philosophy, there's a lot of different words for it, but that's what it means here. That's what this tattoo means here. That's where we're going with this. So I don't know if any of you have been watching David Icke at all. When I have tuned into his London Revealed interview, which I think is now taken down off of YouTube, and finally got a hold of his stuff on Gaia. They actually have a ton of his stuff on Gaia. So I watched his series, Escaping the Matrix. When I watch his stuff, I connect with an element of truth, unlike anything that I have experienced from other people talking about things. I resonate with what he is saying, one, in that he fully believes it, and two, that it is, to me, what I have, again, it's like these little things that I have experienced. When I listen to these people, they're connecting dots. So what's been happening with the Sophia Code and the embodiment of the higher self and the breath work that I've been doing with friends has elevated, and what I've been experiencing here on Bali, I feel that it has elevated me into such a frequency that I am experiencing the new earth. And what I have integrated from watching the Sophia video, or the video from Kaya Ra yesterday, and from channeling Sophia through my physical field yesterday in the higher self, which was an extremely profound and absolutely lovingly beautiful experience. A lot of you have been on calls with me before where I have channeled, and I have channeled what I would call alien entities, or they've come through and they've like kind of shocked me, and it's been a little bit weird, and I didn't know. With the Sophia, there was no fear, there was no hesitation, it was a full willingness. It felt absolutely beautiful, and for me it was a tremendous experience. So I'm not surprised that I made my way to these videos later in the day. So the new earth. I believe I got kicked off of Facebook because I posted about the new earth. I don't know if that is the trigger word that did it, or what sort of algorithm thing was happening. But honest to goodness, that is why I believe that I was kicked off. I believe it was from the one post that I talked about the purification of the body and the placement of where we are on earth, that the bots didn't like it. So I am going to attempt to do more through video, because for some reason I don't think they have as much control through video as they do through written content. I don't know how these bots work, but that is going to be the principle of the matter, how I'm going to be moving forward and focusing more on YouTube, and also videos on Facebook, less written content, because I don't want to keep getting flagged. What I think is happening, the new earth is in a higher dimension. The new earth is not necessarily on another planet. I do think that the new earth eventually will be another planet. I believe that the new earth, the earth that we are living on now, is a hologram. And I believe that it is a hologram that takes the form of matter because how many human thought forms create it. And that it has been taking place for thousands of years, millions, like it goes on and on. I believe that we are still living out the karma from Atlantis. I believe that we're still living out the karma from Lemuria. And I don't have all the details on that other than what I feel. Sky, probably what you feel on Shasta. When I heard of Uluru and the magic box, it made sense because I've had my own memories of planting crystal seeds around the planet. And so when I connected with, like, these dots are just really starting to connect, like all synapses are firing, and it's like, oh, okay, now all the pieces are starting to fit together. I'm seeing a lot more of what my path is, and thank God it doesn't scare me so much anymore. I'm not so worried about what people are going to say or think or judge, because I know that the people that are meant to get it are going to get it, and that the people that I am soul contracted with to wake up and bring into the new earth it's going to happen. There's no like, oh my God, we have to start now, like we're in a battle. I don't have any of that feeling, which feels really good. It's just more a matter of like, okay, now it's time to show up, and it's time to, I mean, I've been showing up, but it's like actually time to start sharing what I'm sharing with you in a more public forum. Which is like the behind the scenes reasons as to why I do Moon Club, which Moon Club is like as entry level as I can possibly be to get people from coming out of the matrix into the awareness of their sovereign internal soul. It literally is like, I've done what I can to, and I don't mean this derogatory, but it's like the handicap ramp to be like, let's come. It's the ramp to bring people in to start to plant the seeds. The things that I've been learning about light language and my own light language is that they're coming through from the goddess of Hathor. And the goddess of Hathor comes through the ancient Egyptian lineage again, which I do think that some of us are still working out that karma. I do believe that we as humans, as sovereign beings in physical form, have the ability to ascend in this lifetime as we have through many lifetimes. I do believe that us, and I believe that since you're here specifically on this particular call today, there's a reason for that. And the reason being that it is about to start getting a lot faster. The speed of what it is that's taking place is about to happen a lot faster. Now, this is the scary thing that people don't want to look at, that they label conspiracy theory because their minds can't handle, or they haven't had enough experiences to be able to believe it. And so that part is the part of, why is this taking place? Now, to give you a little bit of, I guess, backstory, Kaya Ra, the author of the Sophia Code, which is a completely channeled book, also written by her own experiences of what the channeling felt like and happened. She is actually a survivor of these pedophile sex trafficking rings through the political elite, that sort of thing. So she has been in it. She survived through it. She's also survived multiple suicide attempts. And in those times, just got chills, but in those times where she was trying to kill herself or being tortured or mutilated or going through the acts of being a sex slave, she experienced this bridge, the bridge of going out of her body and into the space that is the near-death experience zone, which I believe I have experienced through DMT several times. So that bridge, and I've said that multiple times, that my experience with DMT and my experiences with psychedelics basically gave me the roadmap to create the bridge so I can teach other people how to go there without even using DMT. Now, breathwork activates DMT in our body, so I believe that the breathwork also activates that bridge within us so that we can experience it and we start to embody more of the new earth. So Kyle Ra channeled this book. Yeah, it's called The Dragon or The Sophia Code. If you haven't listened to it or read it, do it now, like start yesterday. It is extremely profound. It's seeded. Now, the thing about what's seeded, and this is what I do too, my symbol for my, you've all seen it. It's the flower of life with the tree of life stamped on it. I actually designed that. And I seeded it. What I mean by seeded it was that I planted a bunch of codes inside the symbol. So anyone who sees the symbol receives the codes that are seeded in it, meaning all you have to do is see it to be able to receive what is stamped in it. If I can do that with my stamp, imagine the amount of symbols that we are all seeing that are seeded with all sorts of information. This is the power of symbols. And people throw symbols away all the time. Like even the symbol of the Illuminati, the symbol of like what we see on dollars, what we see on this, these are seeded codes that work through the matrix in a way that start to keep us trapped and keep us trapped and keep us trapped. Now, I can't even tell you the last time I saw an American dollar. Honestly, probably since before I came back. So I also think that there's a purification detox for me of what's going on because I haven't been in that space. That's also why I believe that Bali is a bubble. Like Bali it's in Indonesia, which is a Muslim country, but Bali is actually Hindu. And the Balinese Hindu is different from Indian Hinduism. The Balinese Hinduism is, it's not super ancient. From what I know, it goes back 400 years. I don't know what happened before 400 years or what was going on here before then, but that's when the Balinese Hinduism started. So there's a completely different culture. They're doing ceremonies like literally twice a week. The potency of the frequency that's here, I also believe is what's keeping people from getting sick with coronavirus, because we are having no issue with that here. I do believe that the coronavirus is a virus that's here on the planet that is designed to wake people up. And I do believe that the lockdown and all of that is also a part of what's happening with the shift of the Great Awakening. Now, in the video that I shared with you that I recommend you all watch, probably a couple times, Sophia or Kaya Ra talks about one matrix that's over here. She draws a really beautiful diagram. There's one matrix that's over here. This is where the sex trafficking ring is going on. Now, I want to just present this question as well. When we look at the big why is this happening? Because I'm a why learner. I'm super analytical. It's been really exciting to be psychic and analytical because I'm constantly asking why and testing and proving everything. So why is this happening? This is what my connection to this is that the why is this happening has a lot to do with, okay, if there's, let me get my thoughts together. I'll explain why I don't have a lot of fear around this. I do think that humans are enslaved. I do think that mind control is a thing. I do think emotional control is a thing. I think that humans are being manipulated because what is more valuable than money? Money is a fucking joke. When you get beyond like what's going on the planet, like it's a joke. It's what we use here as currency, but it's part of the enslavement trap. So when we look at that and we start to see that people are able to wake up and pull themselves out of it, but they have to choose with the design of their own free will to become sovereign, to save themselves. Each and every single person has to do it for themselves. There's literally, this is not a, you get to pick somebody to come with you. Every single human being has to choose it for themselves. This is also why I say that humans that have had horrible experiences in their childhood, mutilation, molestation. Teal Swan, she's another powerful leader. She was kidnapped and kept in a hole for like 13 years. It's fucking crazy. Like absolutely crazy. And what has she done? She has transmuted that pain into being a powerful leader. It's part of the reason and like my story is not even close to that bad, but I believe that that's why I had the childhood that I had. It wasn't like absolutely horrible. I grew up in white middle class suburbia America, but there were definitely some shit storms that were going on in my life. And I believe that those things happened to shape me, to forge me into this. And I believe that that's what's happening on a global scale. So this idea of slavery, or that there are aliens that are coming through that want to basically siphon the life force energy to use it for whatever, who knows what good that they can do. Okay, so that's what Kai Ra is talking about, and it's what David Icke is talking about, and it's like the doctrine that's out there that's being horribly censored, and that's the whole like conspiracy thing. That's why people are like throwing this information out and not wanting to believe it, because of the like literally the trap that they're all in, that we are getting out of if we haven't already gotten out of it. Now, I have been experiencing that the shattering of the illusion, the breaking of the glass, the things that I'm like clicking, these things are happening. And I'm like, okay, there's something significant. I fully agreed to die a couple weeks ago during a water blessing ceremony. I was in the portal that I think I've talked to you guys about. It's like a waterfall you put your head under, but it's just like this big, and so you can breathe under it. And it's a portal. Something happens. So I went in there, and every single time it's different, and I fully agreed to die. And I came out of there and I was like, what did I just agree to? I totally just agreed to die. And I'm realizing that it's the death of my identity. It's the death of who Samantha Faye is. It's the death of who Sammy Fagert is, who I was in childhood. It's the death of these parts of myself that are no longer coming with me because of this message, because of this sovereign connection, because I have stepped out of the matrix. And I've had, for the last couple, I would say months, I've had like one leg and maybe half of my left side still in it, where half of me is like coming out and then the other half is like still there. And as of yesterday, I think I'm about 95% out. I feel like I still have like 1 foot in there, 1 foot left to pull out completely. And I think there's a lot of letting go of surrendering that I'm gonna, like, that's my work, I'll do it. But that's what I think is happening. That's the bottom line. That's what I think is happening. That's what I think all of this is for. That's why I think I've been activated in light language. That's why I think some of you have been activated in light language. I believe that we are being saved. I believe that we are being protected because we're tapping into these frequencies. I believe that we are being shepherded. I believe that we are being guided. I believe that we have guides that are genuinely looking out for our best interests. And our best interest is to also be able to create that ripple effect, because the more that we have on this space. Now, when I was like 21 was when I woke up to my purpose. It was super clear that it was important for me to facilitate as many awakenings as I possibly could. Welcome back, Adriana. To facilitate as many awakenings as I could. And what I just kept seeing this image of like a Noah's Ark and then a bridge coming down and me being on the bottom of the bridge being like, come on. That has never changed. That has remained consistent. And now I'm actually seeing what the point of it is. What is it all for? Now, this whole pedophile, I mean, that's just the word that we give it, right? But like the QAnon, and I haven't dipped my toe that far into the conspiracies, like the conspiracies of what's happening here on the Matrix sort of deal. Now that I understand, or now that the diagram was shown to me, that I also think is a microcosm of what is bigger than that. So basically it's that the ring of torture, the ring of what we can call evil, the ring of what this is, I have also experienced, but I have experienced it through some pretty intense drug use myself, and I have also experienced it where I have worked with clients whose family members or they've known somebody who's died of a drug overdose. Like, it's the depth of the darkness that those frequencies bring. And so when people die of a drug overdose, they don't usually turn into angels. They don't like pop out. What happens is they get pulled into what we would call the underworld, or maybe Christians would call it hell. But that exists. That exists as much as the light exists. So there's that particular frequency that's here that gains power and gains like validity and consistency through feeding off fear, through feeding off chaos. This is what I mean by humans are enslaved by this. We are enslaved by this because we're being force-fed symbols that are seeded with these specific frequencies. So when we're force-fed these symbols with these specific frequencies, certain things change. And when these certain things change, we're not able to see our sovereign, autonomous selves. So it takes a little bit more effort to get out. It takes a little bit more effort to see. It takes a little bit more effort to pull it together. And I'm telling you guys, I think my father is getting it. And if my father is getting it, which is big, if my father is getting it, then big things are happening. And obviously he's the one who I have the closest connection to on this planet. The connection, the cord between he and I is super strong. So he obviously is on the subconscious level going to feel the ripple effect of what it is that's going on with me. But I will tell you, his emotional capacity and capabilities, he still has a lot of learning and growing to do. And that's perfectly fine. But my point in sharing that is that it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. My dad has never been a magical person. My family runs mines in Nevada and is construction oriented. They've been a part of a family business, Christian, like the whole thing. That is exactly what, like, if my family is going to start moving on this ship with me, then to me, it's profound. It no longer is just like, oh, Samantha has a business. That's great. We think she's doing the work of the devil. That's scary. Like, whatever. But there's something significant happening here. So we have that. We have the earth that we're living in. We have the enslavement that's taking place. We have this matrix that's like really trapping human consciousness and human. This is the thing. Religion, taking away the sovereign right to connect with God, takes your power away. Money takes power away. The food takes power away. This isn't just happening on a couple of nations. The United States, and I do believe Europe, are actually the ones that are being most heavily hit by it. The rest of the world is also being hit by it, but these super countries or whatever it is, China is fucked. Like, I don't want to say China's fucked. It's cancel, clear, delete. China is really creating a path that's going to offer opportunity for a lot of strength for all of them to get out of. But okay, so we have that. We have like, okay, the enslavement camp on the planet that's trapping conscious, sovereign human beings and tricking them and manipulating them to believe that they are not powerful creators, to believe that they are not sovereign beings, to believe that they are stupid or that they are tradespeople or that they are, blah, blah, blah. So this is the trap. The pharmaceuticals, the food, like, look at it. The politicians are puppets. The politicians are clearly being orchestrated and controlled by these power systems that are behind it. So we go, oh, the corporations. Well, the corporations aren't responsible either because nobody's being convicted of shit because the corporation is the entity. Listen to the language of that. It is the corporate entity that is responsible and cannot be convicted of any punishment of any crime. So what? It gains more strength. This is turning into a global problem, massively global problem. Eating meat keeps us at lower vibrational frequencies. You're eating dead animals. And you guys know that I have like not been on the vegetarianism camp for a long time. And I'm like, it's clicking for me. I'm finally starting to get it. I felt that my body needed it because this, that, and the other. Now I'm really seeing what it's been doing to my body. and what it's been doing to my mind. Like, these are the frequencies that we are consuming, that we're eating. So when we really start to begin to become more aware, and we start to look like the Wake Up King Corn, like the documentaries that are out there, wake us up, but they don't wake us up to what's really going on behind all of it. It's the mystery of, okay, we know that people are controlling the food industry. We know people are controlling the pharmaceutical industry. We know people are controlling the government system. We know that they're all connected. We know that the voting system is not what we think it is. We know all these things, but what does that all mean, and how do we put the dots together? I really believe that this is what's going on a bigger and grander scale, that it's more on a planetary level, that we're living in a holographic universe. This is why the law of attraction works. This is why the law of attraction is a thing. I had this dawning aha about the vortex. The vortex that Abraham Hicks talks about all the time is the new earth. Whoa! Right? I'm like, shit! Chills, like ding, 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 ding. All these like celebration bells are going off my head when I'm like ding, 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 ding. Okay, so now you're following along with me. Now you're getting it. Now it's happening. So we have what's been going on. We have what's shifting. We can feel it. We know it. Light workers are all over the earth. I believe that we're anchoring the new earth into this physical reality. But the thing about this physical reality is that the physical reality is, one, already a hologram, and two, is already multidimensional. So stay with me on this one, because the shift from where we are going as multidimensional beings, it means if I am embodying the fifth dimension, and I believe that we are going higher. I don't think we're stopping at the fifth dimension. I don't think 5D is the end game of the new earth. That's like ding, ding, 2 floors up. I think we're going higher than that. So the fifth dimension, if I am embodying the fifth dimension and I am still in physical form, that means my physical body has now become a higher vibrational field, which is what we talk about in upgrading the physical cells. So the higher vibrational field that the physical body is that we start shifting into this new space, which becomes the magnetism. It's that people inside of themselves have the multidimensional, like I believe we have the information of all the dimensions of all space and time living within us. It's a matter of getting the human mind. And that's what I believe this is the why. That it's getting the human mind, the human experience to upgrade and up level in such a way. I just had an aha about Mormonism. I'm going to have to chew on that one before I share that one. But I did just have an aha, because I have very, very Mormon family, and they believe that their end game is to live eternally in the physical body. To which, when I first heard that, I'm like, meh, I believe it's to live eternally outside of the physical body. But now with what I'm saying, I'm starting to see these like things come. I don't know. I'll have to chew on that one because I don't know so much about Mormonism. But to get the human mind, to get the human physical form into these multi-dimensions, this is the evolution. It's to bring us as physical beings to be able to live in multi-dimensional space in physicality. The evolution of what is the cosmic shift of growth. So this is why I don't believe that it's super scary. Hi, Asa. We're kind of right in the middle of a really deep, hi, Asa. We're right in the middle of a super deep drop-in, so just jump on in. So the shift with this is why I don't believe it's all super scary. The enslavement, the this, the that. What I have experienced is Kaya Ra and David Icke stop at those two things that, like, okay, the sovereign soul, the this, the that. Dolores Cannon talks about the old earth and the new earth, the 3 waves of volunteers, what we're doing here, the holographic universe. If you haven't connected with Dolores Cannon's work, she also speaks about it as well. So Dolores Cannon, she has Keepers of the Garden and the Convoluted Universe series, as well as 3 waves of volunteers. I just gave you probably about 6 months worth of reading material, so move slowly. Kaya Ra with the Sophia Code. That's number 1. Start there, 100%. Start there. Yeah, Many Lives, Many Masters. That's a good one. At this point, that's like the, again, I don't mean to be derogatory, but that's like the kindergarten. That's the kindergarten spot. That's where it's like, and for a lot, I mean, that was the book that changed my life. That was the book that brought me out of it. That was literally that was the one that popped me out of going to get my degree in psychology and to following the psychic route instead. I don't know if you guys know this. I have a degree in psychology. I actually chose to go to a psychic development program and not to get my graduate in counseling, because I did not want to go the route of counseling. I thought that it was very limited in mind and body. And for me, the psychic path offered an extraordinary amount of healing that went far beyond what getting my degree in psychology was able to offer me. And if that was able to do it for me, what would I be able to do in this planet, being who I am rather than being a psychologist? So that book was given to me by my best friend's mother right at the perfect time when I was in school getting my degree. He has another book that's called Same Soul, Many Bodies. And Same Soul, Many Bodies he says, if past life regression is possible, then future life progression is possible. And I believe if both of those are possible, then time doesn't really exist. What we have here is this physical vehicle that is the conduit to everything. So this physical vehicle that we are in, go ahead and acknowledge your physical vehicle, head, shoulders, knees and toes, woo. That this physical vehicle that we are in is what is moving through the dimensional field of awareness. So the dimensional field of awareness, I believe that I am able to now embody 5th dimensional frequencies, that I'm a living, breathing example of 5th dimensional frequencies. I believe that after this experience, I'll get to those in a sec, Kat. I believe that after this experience that I've had on Bali, that if I was to go be put in the middle of downtown Reno and put in a completely different matrices and to be put in a completely different vibrational frequency, there would be something extremely unique about the frequencies that I am vibrating in and emanating at that would be a magnet, an absolute magnet to what's going on there, that would wake people up simply by a handshake. I did a reading with Glennon Doyle one time. I don't know if you guys follow her work. She has the book Untamed, which is also recommended reading list. Untamed. She's definitely, she's not a spiritual leader. She calls herself a depressed motivational speaker. And I believe she's a depressed motivational speaker because she's still living in the matrix and her soul is asking her to wake up. But she takes antidepressants or Lexapro or something to function in this world. And I believe her soul is like, let's go. And that's what's causing the anxiety. Anyway, that's my own hypothesis. I'm sharing like all the backdoor secrets with you guys today. But I absolutely adore her. I did a reading with her one time before she went on stage in an event called Emerging Women in San Francisco. And one of the things that I learned from that reading was that when she hugs people, there's an imprint that happens from her heart onto their heart. That's, again, it's seeding. So we seed these imprints on each other as well. It's the same reason you don't want to hug somebody that has creepy vibes, because you can feel the seeds. You can feel what their intention is. You feel these things. When you hug somebody that is at a higher vibrational frequency or consciousness, or you connect with them, you touch them physically, it changes your vibratory field. It changes your frequency as well. So that's also like, we have the ripple effect vibrationally and we have the ripple effect physically. So this fifth dimensional, we'll just stay with 5D, but the fifth dimensional field that I feel like I'm embodying, like I said, is the magnet that's attracting people that are going, what's going on with her? What's going on in her field? What is that about? What is the da, 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 da? And for some people that believe that they can't have it, it spins them out. It's almost like bumper cars. They bump into me and they go, boop, the bump right out. I watch it happen all the time, and I used to take it as rejection. Now I am very clear that that is not the case. So to take this a step further, again, from the fear of the oogie boogie bad aliens that are trying to take everybody's souls, which, you know, is that happening? I think there's a lot of evidence that's starting to become more and more clear that something like that is happening. I also don't want to say that I believe in the oogie boogie man and the bad icky nickies and the, you know, rain upon fear reptilians and all of this stuff. Do I believe that they exist in this universe in the same way that I believe that reptiles exist in this universe? I do. But I also am not going to live in fear, and I'm also not going to subscribe to all of this to like bring people of like, we have to wake up immediately because the oogie boogie alien people are going to take over. They're going to eat us all. Like, that's just fucking scary. And that to me is the same fucking trap as religion. Like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We are not playing these games. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. So this is what I believe, in the same way, and the same reason that I believe my mother was my mother. It's to fortify strength inside of every single one of us. It's that if this new earth is going to be created, I believe that this new earth is going to be created. This is the sad part, but it's not the scary part. I don't believe everybody's coming. I do believe that there is a time limit. I do believe that there is something going on with time that is going to keep people from being able to wake up, and it's going to keep people not awake. I believe this happened with Lemuria, and I believe this happened with Atlantis. I believe this happened with the fall of Egypt. And I don't exactly know what happened with the fall of Egypt. I think it just kept rolling, but I think that there was a little bit of a where the magic came out of it. The magic that they were able to access came out of it. Now, the technology that's available to us right now as humans, you and me playing with these little iPads and Zoom, and it's cute. I mean, come on, the technology that's in the universe right now is like way farther beyond all of this. Way farther beyond all of this. But it's like we're given these crumbs to just keep us trapped in this thing. Yeah, exactly. So we will use it, we'll say thank you, and we'll use it in the way that's going to be beneficial. Breaking addictions to social media, breaking addictions to games, breaking addictions to whatever it is that you're using technology to as an addiction. This last week I had to spend a few hours watching Love Island. It is my guilty pleasure, and now I'm saying no more, but I had like, my mind was like, I mean, you guys, I was like in a combustion chamber. I was downloading all of this information. I was seeing all of this. I was getting the feelings of what was happening. I was seeing all these things taking place. I was blah, 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 and I was here by myself not eating. I was like, no, I'm gonna, like, I feel like I got shot out of an eclipse cannon. So I succumbed to Netflix. Now I will no longer do that because I know how important it is for me to stay aligned and to stay present and to stay clear with every single choice that I make. I'm no longer letting myself sidestep. I'm no longer letting myself dip in. What is a lower frequency is a lower frequency, but I believe that once I pull that last foot out of the matrix that I was raised in and cultivated in as a little Samantha, once I pull that last foot out, I know that there's no going back. I know that there's no way for me to be pulled under because I have 100% fully committed and consecrated my own soul as a sovereign being. Now, what do I mean by not everybody is coming? What I mean by not everybody is coming is that there are going to be people that don't wake up, that do not come out of this, that are like either trapped in the pharmaceuticals. I mean, Robin, remember when I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but remember when you were talking about going to get your IVs at the doctor's and both of us had that feeling that was like something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right about it. It was not It was not like clear of what the intention was behind it, although we think that Western medical is there to help us. It takes us away from the earth. It takes us away from Mama Gaia. And if we are taken out of our connection with Mama Gaia, then we are no longer able to connect with our own internal soul. These are the things that keep pulling us away and keep pulling us away and keep pulling us away and keep creating these separations. And it's interesting to see and to witness and to experience. So the new earth, I believe the bridge is already built. I don't believe we're building the bridge. I believe the bridge is already built. I believe the new earth already exists. I believe there are humans here on this planet already living in the new earth. I believe that I am one of them that is fully stepping into it and to fully comprehend and understand. I had to shed a lot of my matrix programming out of my physical body, head, and work through the fear of what does that mean, this, that, and the other. I believe that those of us who are in tune with our intuitive knowing, the center of our own heart, are going to be able to shift, and that we are the way showers. That we are the way showers. There's no more competition. I've been trying to tell that to people here in Ubud, like there's no more competition. The people who are here are the way showers. We are the ones that are creating the new earth. And it's not about who's doing what workshop and this, that, and the other. It's like, it's shenanigans. We are creating it together and we are coming together, and none of that stuff is coming with us. The petty emotional, this, that, and the other, the jealousy, the envy, the kick, it's all going away. It's all slipping off. It's all being transmuted. It's all being brought into a higher light. All of it, every single aspect of it. Now, it is our responsibility. It's our responsibility as individuals. This is where it's not like we can just lay back and let it happen and know that it's happening. You are fortifying and you are forging your path. You are fortifying and you are forging your transition. You are creating this experience for you. You are creating what your strength is. This is your chance at ascension. Now, Kaya Ra talks about that with mentoring with Mary Magdalene, with mentoring with Hathor, with mentoring with Green Tara, mentoring with Isis, that these ascended masters, they come to us and they work with us because they have been embodied as human beings. They had to know what this matrix was, to experience it, to understand it, to ascend into the way that they can then help us. I genuinely believe that that's what my soul has done and is here to do. And is doing. The memories that I had even since I was a child, like I know that there's a strength inside of me, and I believe that all of you are here hearing this because there's a strength inside of you that is waiting to be woken up on a greater scale, that you're waiting for your egoic mind that is still detoxing the matrix codes out of your body. Now, what happens with the Sophia code, which is why it's so powerful and why I suggest you start reading it yesterday, is that these codes that go into your body, it's almost like the antidote to the matrix codes. It is what actually nullifies and neutralizes some of these codes that we have been indoctrinated through the matrix. So when you experience that and you start like sloughing it off, chances are, one, you're going to want to do a detox. You're going to want to do some sort of cleanse. You're going to want to start to purify your physical form, your body. Like things are going to start changing in that way for you. But it's here. The new earth is here. I think one of the biggest lies humans have ever been told is that heaven is a place outside of our bodies, that it is not a place on earth. Heaven is a place on earth. Heaven can be created here in the physical form. Heaven is here in the physical form. And I believe that is where we are going. So this new earth experience, the heaven and hell, like there's a lot of clues as to what has gone on in a lot of different doctrines that I think satiate that moment in time that keep moving forward. The funny thing about the Bible and Christianity is that it served that point in time, but it was also a hologram to be able to create this sort of doctrine that then created another component of like the enslavement train. Now, and that is simply the belief that each and every single individual human is not a sovereign being up unto themselves, that they are not capable of creating that connection with God in whatever way you see God, whatever vocabulary word you want to use to describe that. It's that experience we are able to fully connect with and embody, because the signature frequency of that, our monad, exists inside of us. Our monad exists inside of us. That is that signature frequency of the creator. And that's what I believe is happening, is that there's a shift for all of us to fortify into the greatness of our own human capacity. And we are able to do that through the forging of horrible events that shape us and move us into that new earth. Now, I don't know what happens after the new earth, but I don't think that also matters. I just think we're here. And if we're here, then that's important on what to focus on. Do you guys have any questions or any, and this has been a ton of information. And obviously this is stuff that I've been stewing on and integrating for a long time now. And all of a sudden this week, it's like a bunch of the dots got connected. So I wasn't musing at it so much and felt like I was able to finally articulate with some sort of confidence of understanding what's happening to be able to share it. But I'd love to hear from you guys if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can just go into meditation. How are you feeling? Are you guys okay? Are you freaked out? Are you ready? Yeah, Sky.
Oh, can you guys hear me okay? I don't know how this
Yeah.
mic is. Okay. Yeah, I align with you a lot with what you're saying. Like, I just feel like so many dots are getting connected, and I highly recommend this Sophia Code too. I started reading that after you recommended it, I think like a week ago, and I like cannot put it down. It's just, it's so crazy. I've been listening to it and reading it at the same time. And it's just one of those things that I'm like listening and reading it, and it's just raining as like a truth inside, you know? It's just a really, yeah. So I highly recommend that. I only had a chance to listen to Kairos, the link that you shared earlier, about half of it. But that one was a very connecting the dots. And as time's been speeding up and things have just been moving faster, this last week of just taking a lot of time to reprioritize everything and slow down and be able to just like realize what I need to focus my time on has just been so helpful in being able to integrate it all. And then, but it all was still kind of floating around. So in the last couple of days, just even from the higher self course yesterday and merging into this morning and listening to the Sophia Code this week, like it's been slowly just kind of puzzle piecing things together, and everything's just kind of, I feel like it was all this like tornado almost in this weird way that I was just like moving through, and everything's just kind of, it's almost like in, I wouldn't even say the eye of the storm. I felt like I was in the eye of the storm before and everything was just kind of swirling around, but now I feel like everything's just almost like frozen in time and started to piece together. And
beautiful.
Yeah, I've had a couple visions in breathwork in the last couple of weeks where I've had these moments where I'm integrating with it's almost like my higher self and future and past selves, and they're all kind of like calling together in this collective space. And it's just, yeah, it's just really beautiful. So I'm not feeling scared by it. I was feeling scared. If you had talked to me maybe like a week ago or a week and a half, there was like some anxiety around it. But I think it was more on like past, or just on like grieving, the releasing of things and changing of things. And now it's turned into just like an excitement almost, just really lovely.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. That's the thing. We get to have fun the entire way, you guys. There's a way to be mission oriented and focused and like get this done and make it happen and have so much fun. That's what I mean. Like this does not have to be the oogie boogie scary. We're running from the bad aliens. And I think that's why David Icke gets so much of the like ooh poo pooey sort of like thing. But also, I don't know if you guys are Gaia subscribers, highly recommend it. He has a series on there called Escaping the Matrix. And it was kind of similar. When I was watching his, I was like, this man is telling the truth. And like, I can feel it in my bones that he's telling the truth. There's something happening here that's true. And yeah, with Kaya Ra, it's interesting. In listening to her through the book, I was like, there's something kind of weird. I don't know if I like vibe with this. I don't know what it is. And I think that's a part of myself that is that egoic programming that's still like slipping out of it. And also maybe some entity attachments that didn't want me to fully like embody, which I also believe is in a whole other can of worms in this experience. Like you guys, we really have our work cut out for us to wake up. I mean, we've all had our own waking up story. We've all had our own path to awakening. We've all experienced something in some way, shape, or form that has brought us into a field of awareness that's going, there's something greater going on in this world than grades and houses and babies and cars. Like there's just something more. And so if we can, and like David Icke, the combination for me between Escaping the Matrix, what he's talking about, the Sophia Code, and Untamed, that's basically been what I have gotten into in the last month. David Icke has a way of explaining the way that the system is set up to enslave us through the schooling, the testing. Like we are literally dumbed down from day fucking one. From day one, our parents don't even get maternity leave. Like we're dumbed down. It's absolutely crazy from the beginning. And if you were to start to think about like what was happening with Native Americans, what was happening with tribes and societies all over the globe that had really incredible and unique connections to spirituality in so many different ways. Spirituality basically being the energetic connection to what is above and beyond ourselves, which is the third dimension. It's all different vocabulary. That's really what it is. It's all different vocabulary. So many different doctrines talk about the same thing. But when we talk about the Western influence coming through and wiping out tribes that are connected to the earth, that are connected to Mama Gaia, that are connected to the star tribes, that are connected to so many things in these ways, and then we look at the genocide, the religion that is fear-based, you can't believe in this, you're like, it's almost like humanity was like a farm to be able to create this power of influence that can then be manipulated and controlled through emotional control and manipulation. Because if you control someone's emotions, you control them. Look at dysfunctional relationships, look at abusive relationships. It's all there on a micro scale. What the US government has going on with the American people is a highly dysfunctional, abusive relationship. And what's sad about that, I mean, there's so many things that are sad about that, but what's even more sad about that is that who knows what's happening to the politicians at a high level? News anchors, they get programmed, they have to all speak a certain way. Like they literally go through a programming that says this is what you do, and then they're basically just robots. It's a whole farm. It's like a whole farm that pulls the emotion out of everything and then just puts a ton of fear into it. So if you have a bunch of people that are afraid to go outside, you have a bunch of people that are afraid to hug one another, you have a bunch of people, and especially like the Balinese culture here, and we'll go into the meditation in a couple minutes, but the Balinese culture here, they're so connected with community. They live on family compounds. Like they have 3 generations all living in the same square. They all have their own little houses inside of that square. And then they have like a ceremony space, basically what we would call an altar, but they have their own little ceremony space and they have these things. But And that's part of why coronavirus, like, yeah, some people are struggling, but like the Balinese community is community. They're so village oriented, and of course there's cracks and, you know, whatever, gossip and shenanigans because everybody's humans, but it's like there's the unit itself has not been broken down. It's a powerful thing to see and witness and watch, which how dysfunctional and pulled apart American households and families and relationships are. For me, in contrast, it's potent and powerful to see, because that love connection, that love, like, to access our heart opens with love. Falling in love, falling in love is a mess these days. Are you kidding me? Pornography. I have a friend, he's 43, he's never been married. He talks about how from a young age, like early teens, started masturbating to Playboy, where he could just turn the page, a new woman, turn the page, a new woman, turn the page, a new woman, and then also get slapped with, if you cry, you're a pussy, you need to man up, you need to do all these things. We're talking literally like emotionless men that base, and I'm not saying that like this is general, but this is the programming that they're getting. Emotionless men that get indoctrined with like the heroin, because now we're talking Pornhub or whatever free porn sites are available online, that they get to go to these things for free on their smartphones at an extremely young age. They get the heroin dose to sexual energy. They get addicted to that. They then start seeing women in that way, which devalues the female power, the female intuition, all of this. Like, it brings like everything, you guys, everything. We look at the cracks of how these things, they've all been pulled away and created to keep us from being able to connect with the sovereign part of our own heart. And then the other part about it is that you see other people who see spiritual people as pretentious because they have slipped out of it. So the judgment that says, I don't want to be like that, is even stronger to keep them away from being sovereign to themselves. It's bananas. It's bananas. And then you cast out the people who have ever talked about it. 1984, Brave New World, anything like, anyone have to read Brave New World? For me, it was required reading in high school, I think, before they like pulled it off. So we were able to read Brave New World, but basically it talks about where society is going. We talk about like where society is going. It's not about population control. It's not about controlling the masses. It's not about money. We're told that it is, but it's not. It's bigger than that. You're bigger than that. You are so much more powerful than all of this. So much more powerful than all of this. As am I, as are your children, as are your family, as are every single human being that you know. I really do believe that this is set up for us to be able to shift into a new space of consciousness as human beings, as shifting into the higher dimensional planes of creating on a bigger scale, of creating the new earth paradigm that already exists on this planet, that human beings are already embodying, that human beings are already living in. It's already happening right now. You are capable of stepping into that. And to be honest, the greatest gift you have right now is solitary confinement to be able to do it. All of these things are a huge blessing to us. Huge, 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 huge blessing. In the same way that I wasn't going to be able to heal from my mother wounds without the 5-year period of us not talking, that is what gave me the grace to heal. This lockdown is the grace that you are experiencing to heal and pop into your own frequency, to be able to pop back in and interact with the matrix, as we're calling it, for lack of a better term. But some of these movies that are there, that are available to us, are really profound. And for me, imagination comes from someplace. Imagination comes from higher planes and higher field of awareness. Anything people are creating, and like you talk about mainstream media, this is why I believe I was brought to downtown LA. I believe I was brought to downtown LA to anchor light into the center of LA, to be able to start influencing and seeding the city that has the biggest influence on this planet. That city genuinely has the biggest influence on media across the entire globe. We talk about Black Panther, we talk about Wonder Woman, we talk about Contagion. When we have enough people having access to these films, it creates a powerful, powerful, powerful movement. You keep people stuck in battles around certain things like race, or you keep people stuck in certain battles around female rights, you keep people stuck in these things, they're not going to start thinking above it. They're not going to start going, oh, what is actually happening here? You scale back and you zoom out 500 years, because like what happened around 400 to 500 years ago? Something happened around 400 to 500 years ago on this planet where all shit started going to hell. Like that was the tipping point. It was around the point of exploration. So what was going on before then? What was taking place? And now that we zoom out, and we've zoomed out 400 years ago, and we zoom up 400 years from now, where are we headed? You don't have to answer this question because I'm not going to quiz you on it, but I'm evoking, obviously, some chains of thought. And I don't necessarily feel like I need to prove my point anymore, because I think you guys can feel what it is that I'm sharing with you and giving you the research or the resources that I have been tuning into. If you guys have you guys are finding resources that are sharing whatever it is that you're finding that you feel is true, not like the one and only truth, but true, because you can feel it in your bones, I would love to hear about it. I would love to be connected to it. Can carry the new millennium. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, my sweet loves. I connected with Matthias. Is that Matthias, the same Matthias, Robin? No, who is it that you connected me with this week, whose Facebook was also taken down?
Miguel.
Miguel. Oh yeah, Matthias is Gaia. His stuff is on Gaia as well. Okay, and Miguel. Yeah, interesting.
Matthias also is doing something incredible that Liz and I are a part of. It's called the I Am Project. And he's anchored in Egypt, in Giza, I believe. And he goes to the pyramids every day. And he's realigning the energy centers on the planet. And it's an hour and a half realignment. And he goes through and talks about, I mean, the stuff that he's channeling is monumental. So I highly recommend. I will post a video that really, really spoke to me recently. I think it was, I can't remember what day, like 110. But I've been guided to share it within our community, and I hadn't done it, but I'm going to.
Okay.
It's like a complete reset within our energy system, and as well as the planet, because we're doing this for the earth. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, let's put that in the chat, and I'll see if I can download the chat and even put it.
Where would you like me to share it?
You can share it in the chat here. If you want to share it in the metaphysical group, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and drop in And like I said, since I made the mistake on my email list and it's going out to like 6,000 people tomorrow, I am going to do this again tomorrow morning. Well, tomorrow morning for me, same time for you. Yeah. And to do another full drop-in that's more of a actual Moon Club structured drop-in rather than this here. But like I said, I believe it's something I've learned in working with clients is that anytime we have to reschedule, there's always a reason, there's always a point. And I believe that is what I believe that this conversation, and I think even just me being able to share this is the first time I've actually put all of these together, all of these thoughts together in one stream of communication. So this is me like baby foot, first step into actually sharing more of what I'm experiencing without so much filtering. So yay, carry on. I will keep going. Yes, Kirsten, I'm glad that you are here for this one. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead. And you know, I am just going to still post this into the Moon Club, but I'll post it under a different video. It won't be under the new moon eclipse. But here we go. Taking a couple of nice big deep breaths. Feeling into the expansion of your own sovereign heart. Check in with yourself and look at a number that represents your commitment now in committing to your role of creating and anchoring the new earth here on this planet. Go ahead and give yourself a moment to screen in, do a body scan of where your energy field is in association with your placement in the new earth. Be patient with yourself and forgiving, compassionate with where you are and what it is that you are still holding on to, while simultaneously giving yourself full permission to fully embody your sovereign multidimensional self. Connecting with your angels at this moment. Take a couple nice big deep breaths. Breathe in from your root chakra all the way down to the center of the earth. The heart of Mama Gaia as a living, breathing being that has incarnated as a planet. Recognizing that the field of light that we are moving into has already been created, and there is nothing getting in the way of that. Not a single thing. It's already exists. It's already there. We can already feel it. We can already embody it. It's here. Breathing yourself into the state of your awareness. Lighter, brighter. Lighter, brighter. Lighter, brighter. Breathing in light, breathing in love. Breathing in peace and ease and stillness. We are transcending. Yaki yaki ako ko te ni ako ko kete kete ke yo ko ko te ni ke yo ko 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 ni a. Kutuku ni a ko te ke ya ni a wa poko te ni a. Yoko ko ko te ni ke ke a ka ka te ni a ko 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 ni ke ya wa sa ke ni a wa po a. Yo wa poko ni a se te ni a wo ko a po ni a si a te ni a wa ko a. Se a ka ya hoko a ni a wa poko te ni a wa po a se te ni ke a wa. Ia wa kaya nia, sakania wa pupu ni ki te awa puku ania. Ia ke ane te te ni awa kua pupu ni awa aya si a te ni awa puku a haa kaya nia. Ia ke a te ni awa puku a ia ka dea ni awa puku a haa kaya nia. Ia ua pu haa kaya hi iki awa soto ni awa puku a haa kaya nia. Ia wa ia kaya sa ia ni ki awa. Ia wa na kaya sa ia ni ki awa. Yo ana sayaka ni awa puku ni awa puku ni a tate ni awa puku a saya ni ki awa puku o aya. Ia wapo a kaya te ni awa ua poia. Ia waku a poa ha kaya ni awa saya te ni awa puku a. Ia te ni awa sa te ni awa. Ia te ni ki awa puku a. Take note within yourself that it is not your job to run around trying to shake people awake, trying to get them to see, and trying to get them to understand. But that it is your path to fully embody the light, to fully embody this frequency. As we have seen in our material world, that when there are enough people believing something, it is created in that way. The oversight of the way that things have been orchestrated has been planned for a long, long, long time. It is not for us to only look at our lifetime or the century that we have lived in. To recognize that we are slipping in to something extraordinary. Because with the amount of pain and chaos that we have witnessed, seen, experienced, we know from our own path that those experiences are what transmutes the most beautiful light. And what transmutes into the most beautiful, radiant light. Earth is one planet in the solar system of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is one arm of a much broader galaxy. This galaxy is one of countless galaxies in the alignment of universal intelligence. What we are experiencing here on this planet is powerful. It is profound. It feels massive and huge. And I can assure you that it is not all there is. We are deeply supported. We are deeply guided. The power of light is extraordinary. Your life is created in love. Your heart is created in love. To anyone that has ever betrayed you, I encourage you to offer forgiveness in this moment. To any petty things you might still be holding on to, I encourage you to forgive them in this moment. When we look at things on a grander scale, it makes some of these little instances or things a lot easier to release, let go of, and dismiss. We are powerful in our right to be sovereign beings. Yo susukutuaya. Yo susukutuaya. Yo susukutuya wa okoa. Kayate ni iya wa pokoa. You are beautiful and you're right to embody love. Allow that inner space within your own heart as you release the densities of pain and betrayal. The best thing that you can do for yourself, your family, your loved ones, your community, humanity as a whole, and the experience of building the new earth is to focus on your vibrational frequency, is to focus on your vibrational attunement, is to focus on your capability of being in the vortex and staying in the vortex. Stay the course. Stay present in your sovereignty. The mentors offered to us through the Sophia Code, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Hathor, Isis, and Green Tara are all ascended masters as they have been through the physical human experience. And we are still talking about them today. You are able to connect with them as the Sophia Dragon Tribe. To assist you in continuing to raise your vibrational frequency, your conscious understanding, and your sovereign superpowers to slip out the bounds and binds of programming that you have been indoctrinated with from the beginning. Trust that all is well and all will be well. The shift is occurring as it has already occurred in other timelines of experiences and dimensions of existence. That the new earth is taking place in your physical form, the present moment of now. And now. And now. Your embodiment of the new earth paradigm anchors this into the earth. It starts to change the molecular structure of the third dimensional holographic reality we are living in and we are creating with our mind. You have the ability to transmute any frequency that is around you. You have the Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to light. Everything you see turns to light. The densest and darkest, oogie boogie scary can be transmuted into light. And I want you to know something very important. If somebody cannot see you, this is a gift. If somebody cannot see you, this is a gift. You are being protected by the shield of being invisible. What being invisible means is that you are vibrating in a higher field of dimensional awareness. That doesn't actually allow that person to see you. Meaning, if you are being ignored, allow yourself to be ignored. You are being protected by invisibility. If somebody bumps into you, let them bump into you. You are being ignored by invisibility. When you are invisible, you are embodying fifth dimensional frequencies. This means people that are living and interacting in the third dimension will bump into you and not know that you are there because you're not living in the same world as them while you are living on the same planet. Yo sukuaya iteni iawa. Pukua soya okoa iteni ikia oa kaya haaya anea. Ia ka akayani iawa ahoa saya tini ikia ua puku ukuneya aya. Soya atania ku ua saya upupukuaya ayatanea. I believe that you are here to bring and anchor the light. I love you. Thank you so much for sharing this conversation, this discussion, this drop in, this download with me. I very much could use your help sharing and including people into Moon Club. I also recognize that it is my responsibility to focus on the magnetism of what it is that's coming in through these channels. As I personally, fully, 100% commit to the complete and full embodiment of my multidimensional higher self, my oversoul, the monad, the wings of my angelic experiences. In this moment from here on out. It is done, it is done, it is done. Yo sotuni uapu kuaya ane ayatanea. Ikuaya kanea wa oapua akayania. Oapuku uku atanea. Iawa ko kokotoaya eniawa pokua. Iawa katani iawa pokua tenia awa pokua. Aya saya tenia awa popokea. Breathing into the light of your love, breathing into the light of your heart, breathing into the light of your sovereign divinity. For you are already all that is. With that, my love, as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session here is very much complete. Thank you for spending this time with me here today, and I do look forward to seeing you very soon.